welcome to another episode of the Capcom Podcast. I'm Cameron.
I'm Ultraman.
I'm Ant/Kenoji.
Jeez.
I think I said it right.
So we have Ultraman in our name cards. That's cool. And how you guys took me out of it. Seb, you want to take over?
Does the J in your name stand for Japan?
It does.
It truly doesn't.
It stands for James.
Capital J, because you're big in Japan, my guy.
This is not the Guess Cameron's Middle Name podcast. This is the Capcom podcast, and we have a movie, and we have we have things. Let's go. Hello there. Afternoon, good evening to everyone.
But the J definitely doesn't stand for journey. But talking about journeys, how have your past few weeks been now that we haven't had a live podcast 2 weeks ago?
Right, it's been a solid month. I mean, Anthony wasn't there last week. Wasn't there for the last 2 episodes because he didn't show up to his own movie that he picked.
Not true.
Scandalous.
Kind of true. I'll let you continue.
So, by the way, to Justin, they're also not here. So both of them are not allowed to get points this episode.
Is that a thing?
I said so.
You
know
like
what?
that.
I have the board with the points.
You
so
can't
I can make the
object.
rules.
I forbid.
You can't. I have the board, so I make the rules.
Forbid.
I have the board.
I
I make the rules.
forbid. I had a shoot to go to. I forbid.
I have the board. I make the rules. Boom. How have your past couple of weeks been? Mine have been pretty good. I don't even know what's been going on the past month. It's just been a lot. Prepping for Split by a Pond. I'll be back in the US July 10th, which is going to be exciting. Yeah, how about you guys?
About the same. Just been all over the place. Prepping a little bit with you with Split. Finally done traveling for work. That has been like a ping pong ball bouncing left and right constantly, taking up a lot of my time. I do unfortunately have a song bug right now, which I got when I was in Ohio, but that is okay.
Truly isn't. How about you, Seb?
My past few weeks have been heavy with work, but I'm a few pounds lighter myself now. Otherwise, not much. Got some work-free days up ahead, and looking forward to that.
Speaking of what we're looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Ultraman Rising. Let's go.
That Ultraman had a lot of work in that movie.
Yeah. I do have a disclaimer. The reason why I said best robots in films for a topic was I thought that Ultraman was a robot. I was incorrect.
Well,
I should
there was
a
robots
trailer.
in the movie.
There was robots in the movie, so this topic does still fit. I did have that thought, but I thought Ultraman was a robot because he looks like a robot in the posters.
I don't.
Did any of you guys know like Ultraman's background before coming into this?
Not remotely. I had no idea.
Okay, I wasn't the only one.
I've heard about it, but like never seen anything from the franchise.
But yeah, I guess I'll take over because I know Justin's usually one to do the synopsis, the basic breakdown of the film. I can take it over or unless one of you guys thinks you guys are better.
I can try to do my best Justin impression.
Then you know what, Seb, it's on you. Gavel. 1 point for Seb for taking one for the team.
I can't get any points. This is baloney.
Okay, let's get me in the mood. So guys, Ultraman is a wonderful story. Ultraman is a wonderful story about a Japanese folk hero who saved and protected, but also somewhat fought against the natural giant creatures that roamed the seas and land around the Japan in this scenario for ever. And therefore, Ultraman, which is kind of like a family tradition being passed down in a certain family lineage, is there to keep these creatures safe, but also protect society from said creatures. And in this wonderful movie, we see the story of Ultraman as a character battling its circumstances with the evolution of said creatures without saying too much. And yeah, basically, we see someone trying to fit into this role of a superhero that is somewhat loved but also hated or fought by society, and in some way also the claws of a monopolistic capitalistic agency that tries to get its grasps on something supernatural to gain more power and control. And yeah, overall, in my personal terms, without saying too much, a cool turn of a story on the whole Godzilla kind of theme that comes from classical Japanese monster movies, combined with the kind of like common super um what's the Japanese name? Super Saiban, the Japanese version of the Power Rangers kind of like turn, and it kind of like mixes these together in a very nice way. And yeah, if you are either into monster movies in the Japanese way or something like the Power Rangers franchise, I feel like this is kind of a movie you should look deeper into.
Very well said. Although I think we can mention what the monsters are. They are the kaiju, which
Yeah,
you know.
we can definitely mention that.
Kaiju.
I mean, I have thoughts. A lot of these thoughts are spoiler heavy.
We can say that there are different kinds. One of them actually looks quite Godzilla-y. Others look more like dragons.
Sure.
Basically, they all look somewhat like dinosaurs.
I mean, it's Gigantron. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean that's the main one in the movie, basically. But there is others.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a pretty decent animation style, I would say.
Yes.
It's a pleasing style. I feel like
Yeah.
It reminded me of TV shows like Teenage Robot and stuff like that. Like it's somewhat flat, but also slightly 3D-ish.
I was unsure. So based on how the original films and all the original stories are, because I believe this is an anime originally, or at least a manga.
I don't know. It was a cartoon.
Is it a cartoon? Well, it is Japanese of origin for sure.
Yeah, but like this version, the movie is definitely not anime.
No, not. Yeah, but is this I was just very surprised that we had an English language version of this story now, right? Because I was like, is this being dubbed or not? But it's not being dubbed. This is all
to be fair. As I don't have a Netflix version at the moment, I watched the version literally called Ultraman Rising dubbed on the Internet Archive, which is a totally legal site to watch stuff at. So someone uploaded that in 2024, and I mean it's a Netflix language? English. It was in English,
which I feel dubbed, like. Though.
I was surprised because I felt like, is English the original language, or is that a Netflix production originally in Japanese?
So from how I understand
it, I haven't went on Netflix because again don't have the Netflix subscription.
Netflix does not give you like the original language, quote unquote. But from when I looked at the language options, it did not have Japanese as an option. So I would have.
I mean, it also differs. For example, sometimes when you're on German Netflix with a German account, you can't access English, even though it should be there. And if you have an English account, you might be able to switch to other languages, but maybe
but usually original language. But it looked like it was a Netflix production with a U.S. backing, so it looked like it was an English language production, which is always interesting when people do something like this. I thought it was interesting. I love the whole opening that he's in America and that he then comes back, and the baseball side of it all was also very fun to me. I feel like more and more baseball is coming into media in general. Like I know Japan is a very big baseball story, but like more and more media with baseball is happening, not just in the US and in Asia, but also I feel like out here in Germany, I've seen a couple more projects that have like softball or baseball elements, and I'm like, this is weird because like it's just not a popular here.
I mean, it's not as mainstream as football has become. So if you want to have
Right.
something that's more unique as a trait, because I feel like if you have someone who plays soccer, football, or American football or whatever, that's so mainstream that it doesn't seem like a trait to make like a character piece out of it. But if you, I don't know, make someone play cricket or polo, like that's
Sure.
niche to make that character feel special and unique.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, I
maybe
really,
it's just that.
yeah. Maybe it is just that. But yeah, I thought the art style was interesting. I thought the story was interesting. And yeah, overall I was not, I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised. I was whelmed, I would say.
Whelmed? Elaborate
Yeah, I
more
don't know
on
if that's
that.
actually a word, but like,
You mean
you know how
like
you have
not
overwhelmed,
overwhelmed, but
underwhelmed? You don't have overwhelmed, underwhelmed. So like, it wasn't either.
you
So
were
it's just
satisfied.
whelmed. I was like,
You
this
were
is
you.
exactly what I expected. I expected
Yeah,
nothing more, nothing less.
it scratched an itch. It satisfied your needs,
Not
but
even
like
that. It just
it.
it was what it was, and it existed exactly how I wasn't like surprised in any way. I was like, this is a movie. I watched the movie. Every beat was kind of the way that it's supposed to be. Nothing was like out of the ordinary or surprising. Everything was done well, but not to an extent that I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
So
And
like the movie.
and yeah, and overall, but there's nothing in it. I'm like, I hated this movie, right? Like, it was a movie that did exactly what it was supposed to do, but it did everything well. But I'm not like going the races being like, this is an amazing movie. You have to 100% see this. You know?
I think
So
it's a
like the
great.
movie version.
Sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's a great movie. I don't want to say it like this, but like for like kids, like if I was babysitting my nephew or my niece, I want to sit down and like put on a good watch. Like I think I'd put this movie on, but it's not like it's not like Inside Out 2, or
Sure.
recommending it to everyone, or like Moana 2. Maybe not Moana 2. It's probably
No, not Moana 2. Stop it.
Yeah.
No.
Get some
Look,
help.
I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend this film. But if someone asked me how was Ultraman Rising, I would tell them it's a good movie. Right?
To,
Like,
to,
it's
to
one of the
put it
most
into to put it into a simile, it's like it's edible of movies. Like it's kills your hunger, but like it doesn't make you go, oh my god, that was the best thing I've ever ate, and but it's also like not disgusting, and it's just like
right.
It's not this good.
Like, I'm not gonna make my way out
I
somewhere to
mean
go back. But like, if I'm in the neighborhood, I'll eat it.
the
You
thing is
know?
the thing is
That's fair.
to go back to Anthony's thing, I feel like to watch this with kids is great because it's definitely something you can see with kids because it has nice messages. But it's also something you as an adult could enjoy. It's not childish.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is it the best animated movie we've had on this podcast so far? Not so sure. Is it the best
No,
animated movie I've seen this year? No.
no.
Would
Hot
I
take.
would I still rewatch it if they bring on a sequel? Yes, for sure,
Maybe.
because you've seen the after credit scene, right?
Yes.
No, I passed out after that.
You didn't? Okay. So like there's the animated credits and there's the white on black credits. And after the animated credits there's a very short like 10-second clip that gives something away that leaves room for another movie, basically.
I'm gonna put us in the spoilers because I think we're about to get into spoilers. Unless anyone has anything else that it's not
I
spoiler.
wasn't gonna say anything about the ending. It's just like
I with spoilers now because now I know Anthony wants to hear it.
spoilers.
So
I had something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was. So yeah, just do spoilers.
Alright.
Yeah, so basically the after credit scene is that his watch pings another time with another voice message from his mother who goes like, yeah, hey, so son, I'm still alive, come find me or something like that. Which, I mean, honestly, over the course of the movie, he gets new messages from his mother who's missing, who he suspects is dead, and still he gets new messages, so in
does
some
he
way or
get
form.
messages?
I
Throughout the
thought he
movie,
still gets new
no,
messages.
no, throughout the movie, he's
Are
just
those all old?
no, those are all old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, I thought he still gets new ones because like when they even in the end when they drive to the island with the boat and stuff, they discover like she has a message that fits this too well. So I felt like, to me, it was always a thing of like she'll appear at some point in some form. Like
No,
to me, it was like written in stone. But like that, maybe that's just me
would say though
foreseeing.
this is not the end of the story. I think this was the beginning of a new generation of Ultraman. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what this movie felt like. It felt like a reset. It felt like what Ballerina is doing for the John Wick series right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
It's not coming out. It's not out yet. But like the way that it's being it's like Ballerina is gonna like live, and she's most like I can tell you right now, she's either gonna kill John Wick or John Wick's gonna get respect for her. But I think, if I remember correctly,
question: is she his daughter?
Died at the end of the movie.
Who?
No.
Ballerina?
No,
John Wick. He said.
I said it's. I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen. But the movie hasn't.
He said he thought John Wick died at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
No, don't think so.
No, I also don't think so. Yeah, no.
And
I mean, you just need to settle this story before the last, or in the midst of the last John Wick movie, and you still can establish a character.
But I would also say, I believe Keanu Reeves said that he doesn't want to do John Wick anymore. So this
and that's
is like
a way to write it out, basically.
Right.
Hey, Jeffrey.
And so, but yeah, that's what it felt like to me. Just knowing the history of this whole franchise, it feels like this is like the new chapter of Ultraman, and what that kind of means.
Do you guys think there's some background within Ultraman itself with its powers, abilities, or do you think that's more for the fans to know because there's other backgrounds with his father being Ultraman?
What's the question?
Because I think he asked if we know anything about the background of his powers because his father was also Ultraman.
Like the beginning of the movie, do you think it should have alluded more to the background of Ultraman? And so
the beginning basically establishes that there is Ultraman, and you realize pretty soon that it's the father because he's teaching his son about how important Ultraman is, and that he has to grow into this role, and that he has to decide between the two things. And in the end, he somehow doesn't has to because he balances it, and it's all about the balance in yourself. But
I don't think Ultraman has any powers. I think it's all a suit.
I thought it was power.
Yeah, but it's also about balancing yourself, and I don't know if it's just a suit or if it's some power. But to me, it was also it's only one person at a time, kind of like the Ant-Man thing, where he gets the suit his father had, and in the end, at some point they are both Ultraman with suits and everything. So to me, that felt weird because it was the father can't do it anymore, so the son has to do it. Yeah. So technically, if they two can if the two of them can be it at the same time,
everybody get an Ultraman.
Can't they have a whole army of Ultramans technically if they can multiply the suits?
I don't know.
I mean, there's more than.
I don't know enough about Ultraman.
There's more than one.
That question. There are exactly
there's more than one. Yeah.
But we don't know why. We don't know how you become Ultraman.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never really see
has anyone in the chat actually seen Ultraman, the original Ultraman stuff? Because I haven't.
There's never a morphing scene. You just see lights flashing and then he's there. So
Power Rangers.
Yeah. The most of these common characters or the Super Saiyan characters, they have morphing sequences where it explains how they change and what it entails. It's either magic or technology or some kind of other thing. I mean, even in Sailor Moon and whatever, you have all these weird costume change sequences for a reason because it explains how and what that entails. It's magic, it's superficial powers and nature, ghosts and whatever. It always has some meaning, and in this way you never really see that explained. So it leaves room for speculation for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at because I was not that it was bad. I was just there's no explanation of what Ultraman is, other than like he saves monsters from Japan, and that his dad is
Yeah.
Ultraman.
But he
and
doesn't
that
really,
he's gonna
right?
have
That's the whole
to-
point of the. That's the reveal at the end of the movie. At the middle of the movie is like it's not just about saving
Yeah,
Japan.
it's
Right?
not.
The
It's
whole
about
point is
It's
that
saving.
these
also about
kaiju are
protecting
not
the.
evil
Yeah.
creatures. They're just
I mean, his
wild
dad
animals.
in the beginning saved the creature. Like, he never tried to hurt the creature. He tried to stop the creature from doing harm while destroying the least amount of city and
Right.
keeping the creature alive and away from the attacks of the KDF, or what they were called.
Yeah.
Kaiju Defense Force. Yeah, I feel like that was what it was.
But yeah, this whole I feel like this whole movie is about just like a lot of this film is like about balance. Not
Yeah.
only the balance within itself, but also like the balance of the world, if that makes sense. It's like we can't
And I
just
mean,
destroy all kaijus because that would destroy one whole half of the world, and there's a yin to yang, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Good
I
and
feel
evil.
like that's a very Japanese topic as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Like where
Oh, yeah.
where Godzilla in itself describes the bad influences on a country, outlying forces and whatever aggressors. It's also like means disturbance in the force in the balance. And this one it shows like that there has to be a good in society, like something that's good in the heart to keep a balance to society, and
Mhm.
that sometimes does some harm to society, but to keep everything in check, you need to keep a balance without going to aggressive means of military strikes and whatever. And it's kind of you could call it like critiquing the system.
Sure,
Like
but
it
like on like a
but I mean
wider
that's what this
level.
whole
Yeah.
thing of this
Yeah.
kind of movie originally has been. So like I feel like this is a very modern altruistic take on the whole thing. And
But like on this wider idea of like let's take the kaiju um as an allegory for nature,
yeah.
right? Man has tried to tame nature. Man has tried to basically corner nature, and man has tried to like kind of destroyed it to the point where like it can't do any harm. But we do need nature, even though it might not always seem like we do. And so
And
that's what this feels like. This feels like, nature will destroy things because that's just a cycle of life. But we need that cycle in order to rebuild new, in order to create new within our, society.
And I mean, Japan is a country that has typhoons, tornadoes, tsunamis, and whatever. And if you take Anthony, you had the name earlier. What was the name of the dragon creature?
Gigantron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gigantron.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sea creature. So you could say like it's the ocean, and by like taming the ocean, coming onto the land, causing the least destruction, you could be like, yeah, okay, that's the ocean harming the island, and they put the baby into something that kind of looks like a sea mine.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I thought like they were dropping bombs somewhere, and they were
I
other
think that's
weird
what everyone
aggressors,
was
and
thinking. I think that was the point,
yeah,
right? We all thought it was going to be
and
bombs, and then it
basically
turns out to be the baby kaiju.
I mean, maybe
Oh,
the the
so cute.
the monster was just mad because someone stole its baby, or
Yeah.
at this point the egg. Because I mean, like it's a mother or the father or whatever that it's the parent to the egg, and you steal the children. So
Yeah.
at which point would it not get mad at the humans for stealing the baby? But if you would then put it in like similarly to things, and it's like, yeah, we build dams around the future problems, so like the water damage in this case, like the water creatures can't come in anymore, so like we interfere with the natural flows of things by building up barriers and capsuling things in to try to keep it in check. But in the end it finds its ways, and if it finds its ways, like the baby that is uncontrollable, shooting lasers everywhere, going on the rampage. Like if you try to keep nature in check, it will find its ways, and if you build up pressure, there will be leaks, and if that spills, it'll just get worse. And
Yeah.
therefore, like, yeah, you
This
can't control something that is a force of its own.
No. This also might be me overthinking, but how exactly did KDR get the egg if they don't know where Kaiju Island is?
That is a good question. Probably because it laid the
I
egg
was thinking
somewhere.
about that for continuity.
Yeah, but they're looking for the island, so like it's a
They
catch
are.
22.
But like, wouldn't Gigantron want to have the eggs hatch the baby at the island?
Yeah, but maybe
Unless it
But
accidentally
maybe it
dropped
laid
it.
the egg somewhere. Yeah, maybe it had
Yeah.
the egg in its
Yeah.
belly pouch or whatever. We don't know too much about Gigantron.
And that's me like nitpicking and
At
like
least we don't know.
Sure.
Maybe it's actually somewhat explained in the franchise somewhere.
maybe.
But that baby is cute.
Oh, it's horrible. I
Oh
would
yeah,
not want myself. It would
it looks like a Pokemon, like a very friendly Pokemon.
a
And
giant.
that's kind of
You want one
yeah.
yourself.
I mean,
Yes,
just
I want one myself. I will
Let's think
walk
about
it.
this for a moment, Anthony. You want one of these things. The thing that's like what 20 feet high.
Yeah,
You know.
I could walk
I'll
it.
let
I could
Walk it. I don't think your street is wide enough to be able to walk it.
it might be, some cars might be get in the way, but like it's fine. It's property damage.
I mean, you can have the monster if I can get the house. You can keep it in my basement. It can kind of look
I
like
just want the
cars, I'm
career.
fine with
Honestly,
that.
I'll just take the baseball career. Honestly, if that's what it takes, I would do that.
His baseball career was intriguing how they had him be an all-star baseball player, but yet I mean that's the balance aspect yin and yang, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Scribbles, that is a good question. Where would you even put it?
in my garage that
No.
probably is not 20 feet tall. My
yeah.
backyard, I would just make a 20-foot fence, fence, and then right there in my backyard.
How would you feed it? How would you get all the how would you afford all the fish?
I'd start fishing. I have friends with boats, Start
How
fishing.
I mean, at this point, if I was you, I would create something like a SeaWorld park
That's a lot of money.
at the shore where like the thing could like roam around eating fish. Maybe like I would bring it to Alaska because that's even better, and I mean it's more climate change friendly because I feel like you want some media temperatures and less destruction of property. I feel like as soon as you put it on the bay opposite of New York City, you'll have too much military intervention.
It'd be a very expensive baby.
To be fair, most babies are very expensive babies.
If Anthony wants to move to Alaska, this would work. I don't know if Anthony wants to move to Alaska though.
I don't know if I can handle that cold.
It's for family, Cameron. Do it for the baby.
Hammer means family.
Ohana means family.
I cannot do that right now. That's impressive.
A point of 7i for doing Ohana means family.
What does Sheldon say for Bang Theory? Reject? No. Forbid? No. What does he say?
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I don't
Bang
actually
Theory,
either.
He always I forget. He says something whenever he disagrees, but I forget what he says. When I remember, I'll run back.
Also, something else that I really want from this film is the holodeck that he basically just has in his basement.
You mean the thing that sometimes looks like a baseball pitch, and sometimes he sits on a couch with a cooler underneath his feet that sometimes isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Which I find weird because it projects the sofa area where he sits down and is like, where are all the fizzy drinks in my cooler? I replaced them with coconut water. But technically they aren't there. It's an empty hall. So how does he grab a piece of coconut?
No, it's a different room, Seb.
No, but that is in the basement in one of the scenes.
Yeah, it's a different room in the basement.
Then the room is just not very much detailed at some point because there's never like a doorway or anything. It's just very weirdly like designed.
Coconut water does taste bad though.
Coconut water does not taste bad.
But I feel like it's a giant basement with the wall of cars, the window out to the sea, the hatch for the baby, and then the elevator shaft up. But I feel like, and then it's the elevator shaft up to the upper area, and that's like the whole room. But like, yeah, it's again, I take that house.
I would take that house in a heartbeat. Yeah,
Oh,
and that assistant, absolutely iconic.
Oh, I want an assistant like that. It's better than Cortana. It's better than
The fact that you think that anything could be worse than Cortana, I think, really demonstrates how little I think you know about Cortana.
or I was Starks.
The Microsoft
better than
AI
Alfred.
or
Jarvis?
the
Jarvis,
character
thank
from
you.
Mass Effect?
Oh, I said Alfred. My brain
Because
is-
that's Alfred is
Batman.
Batman's
It's an actual
butler
person.
assistant.
Cameron, Cortana
Yes.
is the Microsoft assistant
Correct.
or the one from Mass Effect?
No,
I was
Cortana
thinking
is
one from
Microsoft's assistant.
Halo, like the actual
Is
Cortana.
wasn't Cortana the digital assistant from Mass Effect, or was it Halo?
Halo.
Leo, can you look it up first, please?
Oh, okay, then it was Halo. My bad. But I feel like it was Halo before it was the Microsoft thing, isn't it?
It's also Microsoft.
Cortana
yeah.
is
It's also
Microsoft's.
supposed to
Yeah.
be serious.
Yeah, but I feel like it was the digital assistant in Halo before it became the Microsoft thing, and I feel like it's inspired by that.
It is.
Could
It
be.
is.
I don't know. I
was a
haven't
big
played
Halo
Halo.
fan.
Because Halo is so old.
Halo's, yeah, it is.
Isn't it 2004?
Yeah, I don't
Original?
want to
Yeah,
talk
it's
about
very old.
Yeah. So I feel like definitely older than the Microsoft Assistant, because I feel like that came with like Windows 8 or Windows Phone, whatever.
it. It came with like Windows 10 or something like that. Yeah.
I feel like it's at least 8, the
No,
one with the weird
8,
tiles that no one
8.
needed.
It came with Windows 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Windows phones, which look like
What
it. And
are your
weird.
thoughts? Sorry. What are your thoughts on the reporter? I thought they were going to get together at some point. I thought it was going to be a
I did
Superman
too.
thing.
Honestly, I thought that he was going to tell her about the not about the kaiju, but at least about Ultraman. Or there's definitely hinting there's some romantic interest.
Yeah, there was some sparks there. There were some sparks there.
Yeah, it's also like still related to kids, so they're not gonna like push heavy on it either.
I mean, she has a family, so I felt like she is like very occupied with everything, and I felt like they are more like friends, and she'll discover his mystery and like a secret, and will become somewhat like a sidekick to manage everything. Maybe she'll babysit the monster or whatever. But I feel like it would take another movie to actually like form a bond between the two, because like there hasn't been enough development for that yet.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be the reveal at the end. That's like, oh, that's who. But no.
Or
I
in the
guess not.
beginning of the next movie, but like pretty much in the beginning, so that there's enough space for
Yeah,
an
I thought
arc.
there was going to be a whole thing that it's going to be a relationship, and then he tells her that he's Ultraman. Yeah, and the fact that he plays for the Giants and not for the Tigers, I feel like that whole opening. No. Yeah, I understand that, but the mother was a Tigers fan.
Yeah, but he likes LA better. It's established in the beginning.
Yeah, but he's not in the Tigers. He's in the Giants, and at some point would have been kicked out to go to the Tigers, which in some sense would have made the mother more proud, because she's always like, yeah, even though you now play for the Giants, or you have to go back to Japan to help your father, even though it means you have to play for the Giants, because it's like, yeah, you go back and make your father and me proud, even though it means you're playing for my hated rival team.
Right, which is why I thought which is why I was confused why he didn't go to the Tigers. Because also the Tigers would have been a lot worse of a team than the Giants were.
Yeah, but are the Tigers in Japan?
Yeah, they are the two basically Japanese rival teams.
Well, what do I know?
But on the other hand, I mean, like, could he play for any other team than the Giants, being Ultraman, becoming Giant? Like,
yeah, I feel like that's
I felt like that was so on the nose, like weird.
Yeah.
He's battling, playing as the main guy for the Giants and being, well, Japan's main giant against the, like.
And then when the coach is like, "You don't know what it means to be a giant," I was like, "Ha!"
I do know what it means to be a giant. I am the giant.
I'm laughing.
Gigantic.
But yeah, it's a time, and then he plays good, and then he doesn't play good. and then although I do have to say that
And
And
montage
in the
where he's
end, he
taking,
does again, which is weird.
that montage in the middle was one of my favorite montages of the film. But when he's
When
like,
he was
It has a
sucking,
lot of
like,
fast cuts.
yeah, between him sucking,
Awesome.
taking care of, because it was well done.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it was a
it
well
it
done
shows the
montage.
truth.
The
But
one
it's
where
the
he's overworked,
truth.
overtired. Yeah, but
I'm
it makes sense.
somewhat sad that Jack isn't here today.
Rest in peace, Jack. You're not actually dead.
Because I feel
But you won't be
like
forgotten.
he would agree.
yeah.
I feel like he would agree with a lot of what this movie entails, like balancing your passions and babies and
He would have
everything.
brought the
Work,
perspective.
yeah.
Yes, he would
Yeah.
have. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting movie for sure. And I think it's well done. And I'm thinking, is there anyone else that we can mention that's like interesting? Like
The
any
baby
other
kaiju.
spoiler? The baby kaiju. Also the mecha mom. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
And the fact that it was then still able to kind of get out of the being like the servant and then follow its own. I thought that was pretty cool at the end.
Yeah, that's true. Also,
But
like
yeah.
the bad guy is just weird. Like nothing he did made sense.
No,
know,
but his motivation was interesting.
I mean,
His
Yeah.
motivation was fascinating to me.
His motivation was the death of his wife
His
and
family, yeah.
family,
child.
because Ultraman could not do his job properly, to then wanting to kill the whole Kaiju Island.
But
Which,
is
like,
he-
But
is
was
he
that
the
the
guy
fault
that
of the
calls-
father or the son? I didn't
Huh?
get that really.
Sorry,
Was that the
what?
fault of the father or the son, or was it like in the
Father. It would
in-between
have been the fault of
period?
the father. But I thought the father.
Father.
So was that the same guy that calls Ultraman at the beginning?
No,
No.
No, right? Okay.
I don't
Because I
think it was
thought that
someone
would have been
else. The
interesting
person
too.
was General. That guy
Well-
was someone else.
I mean, it could have been in the beginning, and then like in the beginning they somewhat worked together, and well, maybe it wasn't him, but it was the same organization. And then at some point they
Yeah.
kind of like turned against each other after that because he took charge and.
I mean, I was just very interested in the motivation of the bad guy, how he exists, and also the way that he kind of like has this grip on power basically throughout the whole entire film. Like even when like his like main lieutenant is like, "Oh, I don't know about that." It's like, "No, this is how we're doing it. This is what needs to be done." And it's like both of these people both like Ultraman and him come from very different like come from the same exact end goal, but come to very different ways of doing so.
Perspective, yeah. Well, I think
Right?
he suffers from a lot from like depression, not impression, but if it wasn't for the death of his family, like that was his why.
Yeah.
Just how it's how everyone heals, and that has to do with like psychological root of like how people heal and take losses differently. Do you feed the good
100%.
wolf or the bad wolf? And he obviously was feeding the bad wolf.
You know it. But yeah, that being said,
We're gonna rate that movie.
I think we're gonna do something else now. I'm waiting to see
Oh.
if no, okay. We are gonna. We ready, guys? Rate that movie.
Okay, I
All
was
right.
thinking every one of us does one word because we're 3 people, but that didn't work.
Did not.
No, did not.
I want your guys' thoughts first because I have very mixed thoughts.
I'm giving it a 6.8 out of 10 Ultra points.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of Ultra Diamond points, just because it's a movie I could then, if I'm babysitting my nephew or my niece, I just put them on the couch. I know they'll enjoy it, and I will not get in trouble.
See,
Okay, Cameron,
I want to
rant
write a
away.
review of this film. I don't know what to rate it. because I feel like if I give it a 7 out of 10 or a 3.5 out of 5, I'm gonna be like screw up my whole rating system. But I feel like giving it a 6 out of 10 is too low.
That's why
Yeah,
it's
isn't
5.
it?
Like
That's
that's
like
my issue.
6.8.
It's like it doesn't like
6.8 too close to 6.7 though. You can round it up. I mean, I guess you can round up 6.5 too.
You could
but-
also go for 6.6.
Ooh, in the middle.
0.6.
In the middle of the middle.
no, not 6.66.
You
What
could go
about
6.66 and be like, it's the devil because I don't know how to rate it.
6.67
I'm gonna do
rounds up to a 6.7.
3 1/4 at bats out of 5.
At bats, I like that.
Like put baseball in there. Why not? I should have had some baseball stuff on me today, but I didn't because this is a movie podcast. I still have our TNT Minecraft box here. I need to clean up this. By the next episode, this whole corners will be cleaned up, and it's going to be a whole set. It's going to look cool, and yeah. Sorry.
So I'm putting it in the calendar.
Perfect. You'll give it an 8 Scribbles. Interesting. I'd love to hear your thought. Why Scribbles? I'm just interested as to why you give it, because that's high, especially for all of us. It's just like, why do you give it an 8 out of 10?
Do you know what we gave Namona?
I give that
higher
an 8
than
out
this.
of 10.
I think I also gave that a 4 out of 5.
Because I mean, similar story.
A little different. Very much. Very
Protect
different.
the character.
Different. I
Yeah.
like animated films too, but especially if you're looking at animated films, like if you rank all animated films, I don't think this ranks that high. Not even within the animated
I
films
have
that
to
we
agree.
watch.
Giving it more points just for the style of production doesn't make much sense to me, because like in that case I would ask myself, would it be the same rating for me if it wasn't animated? And I mean, like, I feel like yes, style plays into it in some shape or form, because I mean, like, if you made that with a character in CGI, because I mean, in the last Ant-Man or in one of the movies, you had the giant Ant-Man. So like, if you would make that this kind of movie with like real actors and CGI, would it hit the same? Because I feel like you could definitely make this into a real life movie with CGI.
You could. It wouldn't look as good though. It does get more
it
points.
Would be the blend. It would be the blend of Ant-Man and Godzilla.
Sure, but I would.
I feel like that could work.
Like I think because it's an animated film,
like,
I think the style does match the story in this case.
Definitely. I mean, it lives from the style.
There's a difference between the style matching the story, and therefore it's of higher value. But on the other, but it's not because it's an animated film, just because the animated film itself is a better medium for the story. Originally, I gave it a 7, but then I thought it was a bit low. See, okay. I think that 7 is the higher end of this film. I think you're giving it a whole extra point out of 10. But yeah, sure.
That's where I was going. Like, I felt like a 6 is too low, but 6.5 doesn't feel right because that sounds so bad. So I was like, yeah, 6.8 would be fine. Because it's like it's not so much a 7, but it's also like, yeah, I want it a bit higher. I mean, like, it's a movie I would watch again, but not just for the sake of like watching it again, you know.
But it's not a movie that I'd watch again, like being like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. Like it's one of those films that it's like, hey,
it's
a movie
on TV, I keep in mind.
Yeah, sure. I don't even
know.
It's
a movie I keep in mind for a circumstance, like Anthony says. If I have to babysit someone and I need a movie that's good for younger people, but also like for adults, that's.
And I would put Nimona in there instead.
Yeah, but how long is Nimona?
I think it's the same distance. I think it's 2 hours too. Yeah,
they both went 2 hours.
Because I was gonna say it's like 2 hours on the dot.
I think it's a higher quality film. I think it's a better story, and I think it has a more interesting message.
Definitely has more interesting
and better voice acting. Like you know,
I didn't dislike the voice acting. The voice acting was fine.
It's like Power Rangers more than
I didn't say that I disliked it. I just said it's better.
Again, but therefore Anthony just said it. I was a kid that loved Power Rangers and stuff like that, like with the Zords and the Morphin and whatever. So, I feel like so to me, that would be a genre I'd cater to much more than Nimona. I love Nimona more than this movie, but because of that genre, I feel like if I needed to show someone something like that, and because I mean, even though I think the Godzilla movies, the newer ones, aren't the best of movies, it's also
The
like
newest one
something
is
that's
amazing. The newest Godzilla Minus One is
the
amazing.
newest one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that
And that's
one,
not the newest. Yeah, that Godzilla Minus One is amazing. The
yeah,
Godzilla
yeah,
Kong
but
stuff is not great, but
yeah, but therefore, like I would say that this would be somewhat like something I'd show someone as like a step into both like Japanese monster movies and these kind of like saber movies.
mm. Mm. Interesting. I'm going to change topics real quick.
Okay.
And promote something a little different than what we usually promote on here.
Oh
And
my god.
especially because we haven't announced it yet, but we are going to be changing up our format just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. And so what we're going to do is actually we're going to be uploading instead of keeping these lives as our episodes. Part of that is because we want to be able to give the best experience to everyone, and we want to be able to make sure that if there's an issue with something that we can get out of it and all that kind of stuff. And also what we can do is make episodes a little bit longer and then, cut them later. Because of that, we're going to be creating these live videos as unlisted. That doesn't mean though that you can't watch live videos. You can join us live. It's just not going to be public. It's just not going to be out to see. And part of that is I just put a link in our chat. There's going to be a bunch of stuff about it on Instagram to make sure that people know. This is my mailing list. It will be on our mailing list. It will be on Instagram in our story for 24 hours beforehand. You can always join us live. But from what we've seen in our previous videos, it looks like it would be better for our analytics if we have an uploaded video. And I want to make sure that people still see us live if you want. And yeah. And also, if you go onto the mailing list, didn't mean to do that. And also, if you go onto the mailing list, you'll get to see the products that we're working on and see cool things that we're all doing at Capcom Productions. And just be able a lot of cool stuff, and just be able to follow us along. I just want to make sure that everyone that wants to join us live can join us live, but it's going to be a little more private, a little more cool, a little more cozy, so that we can also kind of screw around a bit and have some more fun. Do any of you guys want to give any more comment to this? I know Justin, who's not here today, funny enough, was like instrumental in like pushing this change for a while. And then when we spoke with the group, everyone agreed with them. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say before we move on to our topic of the week.
Just please follow, and we love to keep you as a live audience and also give you the best experience possible. And we are also always happy for feedback because, again, this isn't possible and isn't fun without you as the audience.
And it's also completely free. So there's no money or anything tied to it. This is a completely free thing. So it's not like we're putting the live behind a paywall or at all or anything. No, that's not what's happening here. It's just going to be unlisted videos so that we can then upload them later as well. But I don't know, Anthony, any final thoughts on that?
We love you guys so much, and we know that you guys love the lab aspects. We don't want to take that away, and we're excited for this new change. And if you guys have any feedback, please send it our way. We're growing with you all, and we're excited to expand and grow. And we got amazing, great things happening.
Yeah. With that being said, what's your favorite robots in films?
Well, to make it very simple, our good boy, Austrian American, the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, of course, the T-1000.
That's no K2. Is it K2SO? I think its name is.
But isn't the Terminator the T-1000?
Yes, the T-1000. But that's not what I'm talking about. Do you guys know who K2SO is?
No.
Please tell me.
From Star Wars?
No.
I think originally from Rogue One, and then now has been on Andor as well.
I haven't watched
Oh
Andor.
yes, I do know what that is. It's one of the triangle, the picky noise, picky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Be fun.
But honestly, the best droid of Star Wars are the gray box postage droids with the small feet that look like a tiny box with feet on the bottom.
Tiny box with feet on the bottom.
Wait, I'll put a picture.
I don't know. I just let him talk and was like, okay.
You lost me there, buddy. I feel like I'm gonna get some, maybe not some criticism, but I'm gonna say Roz. There's a lot of great robots.
Roz
from the Wild Robot.
That's valid. I'll take that. I think it's a cop out, but I'll take it.
It's not a cop out. All right,
Not a cop out.
It's not.
That's not true because K2SO is basically very similar to Roz. So
yeah. I mean, it's that or it's Wally. You know, gotta go old school classic.
Wally is an amazing pick. Wally is a tremendous pick. Seb, I think I'm going to break the rule.
You're going to break the rule?
Please?
Seb, I'm going to break the rule. I think I'm going to give Anthony a point.
No. What for exactly? For his choice?
For saying Wally.
Honestly, but that's not even a big call. Anyone of us would have said Wally at some point.
No, that's so not true. Were you ever thinking about Wally, Seb?
I would have said Wally
Leo privately. So basically, because Anthony wasn't his own pick for episode last week, he officially hasn't been able to get any points for today. Do you think that he should get a point for picking Wally as a robot, as top robots in films of all time? It's up to you, my friend.
Oof, that's a lot of pressure.
Also, I don't know if I can show that on camera, but I'll try my best.
Those are amazing. I love those
this
things.
Is the gong, This is the Gong droid EG6, which is an energy supply droid, which basically cares for electricity on the Death Star. Funny. And I feel like these things are just so stupid and funny.
Leo, I do need an answer from you.
Because it basically looks like we took tiny people and put them into shells.
It's really funny. They're so, and I think they're
wobbling
too, right?
in the old movies just looks horrific. But yeah.
I mean, I do gotta say, sci-fi has made some great robots.
Also, question, and I mean, it is Baymax is a robot, isn't it?
I think Baymax is. I'm still waiting on Leo. Scribbles, I'm still waiting on Leo.
Leo says he deserves it.
Does he? Fine.
He put it in chat.
Thank you, Leo.
I'll give a point to Leo too. Leo doesn't have a lot of points on the board. He doesn't come on screen often, so he deserves.
I mean, the movie.
Although he hasn't done any of the graphics. This.
Yeah. So Baymax is a care and escort robot.
Escort.
Yeah, that's just like.
What is that from? Why
roughly translated from German?
Baymax.
The white fluffy thing with the red suit.
Yeah, from Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
Big Hero 6.
That's what I thought. Okay.
By the way,
what is a bad robot? Like, what is a bad robot in films? Like in films. Wow, my brain.
What is a bad robot in a film?
You know, like if you guys got to think of like one that like you just don't like. It doesn't have to be evil, like not evil.
A bad robot film.
No, a bad robot in film.
Just a bad robot in films. You're like
bad.
Oh, it's too. He's a knock. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but bad in terms of evil, or bad in terms of
No,
quality?
not evil. As in bad as
Not evil,
poorly
as in
done.
the best robot, as in you love, but bad as in you're I can't stand that character. I can't stand that.
Is it iRobot where the robots fight against each other?
Believe so.
Yeah,
With the boxing. Is it
Yeah, but
with
aren't
the
those
boxing
robots
robots?
only controlled by humans?
Yeah, but still, that's what even makes them worse.
That's
Because
what
they have
makes
some mind of their own, but then again, they are like RC cars for boxing fights. But they still have some character of their own, which to me is kind of weird, Because they are a person of their own in any sense, except for the fighting.
Mm.
So they're like fighting chicken in the ring
Yeah.
with a mind of their own outside of it. Which, yeah, that to me is a bad robot because, honestly, that's just like gladiators without a sense of their own in the arena where matters to be a character.
Tough decisions. I don't even know what
It is
a bad
tough.
robot would be.
I have to really think about it. I'm gonna ask the question too.
Aren't you the one that asked? No, that
I
was
know.
Seth.
I just didn't.
That was you. That was
was
you.
me.
Why'd
It
you
was
ask a
me.
question?
It was me. It was me.
I'm thinking. What other robots are there that are really bad?
Oh, see, okay, now I found the movie because I was like, did it have another name? But do you know the movie Robots?
Yeah, I was thinking about the movie robots. Those robots aren't great.
It's
Those are
the
not
worst
great robots.
robot movie ever.
It is a really
Also
bad
for the
robot.
soundtrack.
It is not. It's a fine.
I don't know if you know, but the design, also with the weird big ball robot of the boss and everything, and I didn't like the art style at all. It's just very weird, and it's an art style that looks so dated by now.
Yeah.
I gotta look.
It's very 2000s. Is that 2007?
Oh,
It's okay.
It's 2005.
Yeah, 2005 movie. It's
It's
okay.
it's this one.
Yeah.
That one.
It's okay. It's a little cringe.
It's not a bad movie. It's just a very a piece of its time kind of thing and kind of dated. I feel like
It has a similar vibe, like animation style to Chicken Little.
yeah, true that, but different.
And that's not an amazing
Same
animation
different.
style.
What about the robot and Meet the Robinsons?
The robot.
What is he talking about?
Carl from Meet the Robinsons. You guys ever seen that movie, right? Sorry, I went way off topic.
I have seen this robot. I can't remember when I ever watched.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, kind of the same style.
Yeah, it looks kind of terrifying.
Also, speaking of cool robots that we like, I have to say Bender from Futurama. It's
Sure.
a classic.
That's a solid one.
And also, therefore, Fatso bought the weird deadly bot thingy. So, yeah.
Although I would say,
I feel like Futurama is a cool
bringing
show
it back to
underrated.
Ultraman Rising, I would say that robot is really cool.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
The one movie.
Ultraman isn't a robot.
No, not but the assistant is a robot. It's a floating.
Oh, you mean the small AI thing?
Yeah.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Pacific. You guys not remember Pacific Rim?
I know Pacific Rim, and I try to forget it. Have you played the video game as well?
No.
Good. Don't. But even though the movie, I mean, I feel like Pacific Rim is one of those movies that I don't need. Also, why cast Rihanna into a main character role?
Yeah, that's fair.
That being said, Rihanna will be in the new Smurfs movie, so I guess they didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah. Then again, I guess that song will have singing because it's the Smurfs. it makes sense to cast the singer for the Smurfs.
But that also doesn't have a great animation style either. I don't know if you guys have seen that trailer.
Yeah,
Doesn't look
she'll
great.
probably have been blue during the whole shoot.
I think that joke only works in German.
Yeah, what is that?
No, she could also just be sad during the whole shoot.
That's true. In German, being blue is being drunk.
Oh, I want to say that more often now.
And I actually didn't think of that. I just felt
Oh,
like
you
yeah,
meant
she could
actually
be-
sad? You meant
Yeah.
depresso?
Yeah, because it felt I would feel depressed playing a Smurf all the time.
Honestly,
Well,
valid. Being
yeah.
depressed to play a Smurf, I feel that. Especially this animated version of Smurf. Oh, it's sad.
I'm
That being
blue,
said, you guys.
da-ba-dee-da-ba-die.
That being said, you guys, any last comments before we go off for today?
Thank you all for watching and watching Ultraman Rising before rising above.
We have
If you ever discover an egg of unknown origin, don't touch it too much because it might think you're the mother, and then you have to care for an alien baby
That's when you give it to
or a
me.
monster baby
That's when you
or whatever. And if you don't own the powers to become a giant thing to handle that giant baby, don't touch the egg.
give it to
Don't
me.
touch eggs that lie on the ground somewhere in public. Just don't.
You give it to me.
Don't
Give it
forget,
to Anthony.
don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow the I'm forgetting the word now. The mailing list to be able to stay watching the live videos. They're not going to change their times. They're still going to be at noon Eastern, 6 p.m. CET on every other Sunday. We have a whole new batch of films coming out in 2 weeks. We're going to horror, you guys. We're watching the original Carrie. I'm super excited about that.
Shocking.
With a special guest coming on who is a horror expert.
Hold my hand. I don't do good with horror.
Gladly. We can all watch it together. And otherwise, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.